Garden snacks. Oh, garden snacks.
Garden Snacks, bite-sized conversations with full-sized personalities. Hey, everybody, it's Caroline Gant.
And it's Tyler Blankenship.
And welcome to another episode of Garden Snacks. Today we have Renee Bates, the one and only Renee Bates, talking with us.
Thank you for having me, Caroline and Tyler. It's good to talk among friends.
Yes, thank you for coming on. We're so excited to have you just to talk about plants, what you're into, your life as a Bates here at the Garden Center. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We just recently had the gift of having your first appearance on the main broadcast show, and that was really wonderful. You were able to show some photos of your garden that you've redone at your house. So if you guys want to check that out, that is the Saturday, June 27th broadcast, where we'll have a visual component that you could check out. But Renee, we got you here right now.
Sure do.
Thank you, Tyler. It was fun. You guys made it so relaxing and easy to be on the show. It was a pleasure.
Yes, and we'll love to have you again. But as for now, let's talk about your background in horticulture.
Oh.
How long have you been gardening?
Well, I grew up next door to some twin boys who were probably 3 or 4 years older than me, and I was kind of like their annoying extra little sister. They didn't have any siblings besides the two of them, but they were into everything, and they had a hobby greenhouse. And though we did grow some things in our yard, my dad would put out tomato plants and plant some flowers. My mother was the inside cooking kind of person then, and my dad was the outside, and I would mow the grass and help him out some. But we grew, with those boys next door, we grew annuals, and they sold them. So I was exposed
so you've been
to
in
it.
this your whole life.
Yeah, well, I say we grew them. They grew them, and I hung out and learned some things. But they would, back then, this was the 70s, and they were growing begonias, and I don't know if anybody remembers touch-me-nots.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think those are sold very much now.
No,
but
you never see them anymore. People ask about them, but you don't see them.
yeah, and one of the boys went to Stratford, one of them went to McGavick, and McGavick had a horticulture program.
Really?
Yes. And,
I don't know
you
if it
will
still does. That's
remember.
where my cousins went, but
And we're referring to Nashville, Tennessee.
yes,
We are
Renee
referring
is
to
a
Englewood.
local unicorn, born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee.
Married to a local, born and raised in Nashville. And this friend is Greg Ernsberger, and he is a regular guest here at Bates Nursery. He comes in a lot. So
Yeah.
He has a beautiful yard. His
Oh, I
life
bet.
is about his yard, and he keeps that part of McChesney looking good.
Wonderful. So he's still going at it.
Oh, definitely.
Did he get out of the selling business, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he went on to have a career in something totally different. But the landscape and presentation of the house and lawn and gardens has always been his thing. And, when I was growing up in Englewood, we did not have deer and turkey on our street.
Yeah.
But the Shelby Bottoms, that beautiful nature area and all, has pushed the wildlife and the development and so forth. I think on both sides of Gallatin Road.
Yeah.
And they now regularly have deer on McChesney. I can't believe it.
It's crazy. It's just pushed them out. Yeah. And they're just trying to find food where they can. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, though. I love deer. Knock on wood, I don't have a lot of issues in my garden with them because I live out in the country. So they've got plenty of space, I think, to eat in nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know in the city, they're becoming very problematic.
Well, I think wildlife generally is coming into our gardens. Another friend, Kim Barrick, she struggles with the bunnies in her backyard.
Oh.
And she has found that putting dog hair around the plants is protecting.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So
That's a good way to
So simple. Something
cohabitate
you
with
could just
nature.
overthink and not realize that would have an impact.
yeah.
I guess often it's like an olfactory thing, right? They, something smells off or bad and they
Yes.
skedaddle.
Yes, she was putting hair. She's like, save the hair from your hairbrush for me. And she
Because
was
they're going to
putting
smell it and be
human
like, there's a
hair.
human
Yeah.
around here. Like, I don't want to have my babies here.
Yeah.
I guess I've never had issues with rabbits in my garden. Do they eat like the vegetables and
Oh
stuff?
my gosh.
Yeah.
Do they decimate everything?
I think she is a
Anything
profit
that's
center
low
for
enough.
us this spring because she keeps coming and buying plants.
Oh, no.
They like the phlox a lot.
Okay, that's good
They
to know.
pull the dahlias down and eat the blooms off of them.
You're kidding me.
Oh, no.
But that sounds so cute when it's happening. Imagine just a little bunny like standing up on its legs and pulling down a dahlia bloom. I know people listening right now are probably like, this is not cute. This happens to me too. But
Yeah.
it sounds pretty storybook like.
Oh, yeah.
I've certainly stumbled upon a couple of clutches of bunnies in my yard as I'm mowing, which is frightening. And but they just scatter to the four winds. You know, you just see the little rabbits like run off, and you know, I'm freaked out and they're freaked out. But then it seems like, at least in my case, they don't really return. They might browse my front yard, but my backyard is also fenced. I have the privilege of that. But of course, there's no shortage of any other squirrels that can just easily
Oh, yeah.
easily get over that. I feel like I get raided by squirrels every week.
Yeah, I have a groundhog.
Oh,
And
my
I love
goodness.
him.
I'm
he
glad
comes
I
down to
don't.
my vegetable garden and eats stuff, but I let him. He's so cute. He's massive. He lives in our barn. He burrowed a hole because it's a dirt floor. But I'll see him when I get home. He'll be in the garden just looking around, and then he'll take off running.
I love it.
Yeah, I
they
do
are
too.
so cute. I watched one eat a sweet potato vine, just crunch, 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 crunch.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
I love them. I can't handle how cute they are. A lot of people hate them. They're like, why? And I'm like, they're just, I don't know. They're so
Yeah.
fat and just hilarious when they run.
Yeah.
Well, you know, on the wildlife note, we are. I think there's a collective push to modify our landscapes to accommodate wildlife more so, and not be as hostile, at least to the ones that don't like to eat every single thing you plant. But you know, birds have a place, and little like lizards, skinks, things like that. They love like hiding in rocks and laying their eggs under mulch piles because they're nice and warm.
Oh, definitely. And
It's all, we're all in this huge forest web here, so and that's one reason also why you changed your landscaping as well, right?
yes, I'm a birder. You know, I'm a painter, but when I'm outside painting, I have a hard time prioritizing painting because I'm listening. I'm using my Merlin app, listening for what birds are out there and trying to spot them. And in my lifetime, we have lost half of our insects and half of our birds. And it's because we're not living alongside them. We're trying to get rid of them and the chemicals that commercial farming and all bring. And there's room for all of us. And, you know, so go the insects and the wildlife, so go we humans.
Yeah, everything will be gone.
Yeah. So we need those. And I'm so happy to see that many people are waking up to, particularly pollinators.
Yeah, there's been a big push.
Mm-hmm. And when we changed our garden, I wanted to be more friendly. I'll just tell you, I used to feed the birds with bird seed, and I got a rat problem. And I didn't want rats.
No.
You know, I didn't want rats. So I started planting and making my yard more friendly for birds to find what they needed naturally. Putting out water.
Yeah.
I've got 4 bird baths and planting things that they can forage on. They need the insects. Not all birds, I guess, are insect eaters, but most of them are. And believe it or not, hummingbirds eat insects for protein.
I did not know that. I thought they were all about the nectar, which they are, but also insects.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It involves feeding their young as well, because I think the nectar is for energy, but the insects are for the protein for the babies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know, that all that is woven in together. And I've also heard even just incorporating a single dead log, if you have a place to park a dead log or some trimming, some branches and things like that, that allows caterpillars and things that break down that lignin in that to flourish, and that also is a food source location for birds to peck and
It
to
is.
get grubs and things like that.
Yeah.
I use those as my like garden trim on the outside.
I love that.
Because we're always cutting stuff down, and then we'll just roll it to the garden, and it'll be the edging for it.
I
And it's
love
nice because then
that.
it breaks down. It
Yes.
feeds the soil. It's good for all the little creatures there.
The woodpeckers will be on those logs, getting the bugs out of the logs. The other thing that I do is leave some leaf litter. We call it leaf litter, but just letting some of the maples and all the different trees leaves stay on the ground. And the other day I was rewarded. I've got a video I'll have to share with you with a brown thrasher. And as I'm watching that bird thrashing through those leaves, I'm thinking, well, you are very well named. And it
Living
was
up to that.
finding a little roly-poly or whatever it was after every now and then. And then it jumped up in one of those bird baths and took a bath after all the foraging. It was great.
You were
I've
like,
got
this
it on
is
video.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, please send us that video. We need to get it up with this episode for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I love that. But you're just talking about how you've created this habitat. So, like, you can walk outside, everything is like living together harmoniously, and you've got entertainment. That's something too, instead of just like this boring yard that you've got to mow. And if you don't water it when we're in a drought, that grass is going to turn brown. Instead, you've created something that you can just spend hours in without having to like watch TV or look at your phone just for like entertainment. Like, I love that.
definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Nature and instilling that in our young people and children. One of our friends, Jeannie, has a granddaughter, and she is all about the nature. The granddaughter now, she's like, it's a cardinal.
Oh, she's
red
learning her birds.
Carbinals.
Cardinals.
They're
The
my
cardinals. They're so pretty, those cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of carbinals, I have one that is on my Illinois red mulberry. And that tree is every bit of a bird feeder if I've ever seen one. And I highly encourage, if you have space for like a service berry or a mulberry, it's a really great food source. And I know people, with mulberries, that has a reputation amongst people for droppings and things like that. Yeah, put it in your far backyard.
Yes.
And just let it kind of fill in that space. And it honestly, it fills a niche, a need, and then you'll notice that those birds are hanging around and they're taking care of other bad things in your garden, picking things off of the vegetable plants that you want to thrive.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I planted a chokeberry. I got here at the nursery this
Chokeberry's
spring.
another good one.
And it's got several sprigs of berries that will be ripening, and I can't wait. I'm hoping to draw the cedar waxwing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, our neighbors have a service berry. They've got several in front of their yard that are about 30 years old, and they just come in a huge flock to theirs.
Yeah.
And we also planted a service berry in the side yard to draw that, and we planted a black gum and a sweet gum. So I can't wait for those to.
You guys have so many trees.
Well,
I love it.
yeah, we do have several now.
Yeah.
Just
you do.
a few.
You did remove, you had a crepe myrtle, right, to the left of your...
We did. We removed several crepe myrtles. Crepe myrtle is beginning to get scale here in Middle Tennessee.
We're seeing a lot of questions about that every year. I feel like we get more about the scale on them.
And they're not native to Middle Tennessee, and so we replaced those with other native plants in that strip where we've got the prickly pear cactus and the little blue stem grass and the yuccas. That there used to be crepe myrtles out there, and boy, those things want to come back.
Oh, that's what I've heard. I've never tried to remove one, but I've heard they just keep on coming. Like they're almost like a holly, like almost impossible to get rid of.
They are.
You've
and
gotta
they
work for
reseed.
it.
They're
Yeah.
reseeding themselves out in other areas this year. So I'm just staying on it.
Just pulling them up. I feel like that's something people don't think about. A good friend of mine actually sent me a photo last night of her front landscaping, and she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's just a little crepe myrtle." And she was like, "Well, it doesn't look like my other one." And I was like, "It will. Like, it just reseeded." So she's gonna let it go. She's not a big gardener. They bought a house that already had stuff in it, and she has that growing like right beside her sidewalk. And I was like, "Well, if you want to keep it right next to the sidewalk, let it go."
There you go.
But I do have a question for you. So we were talking about how you've planted for the birds. So instead of putting bird seed out, now you have plants to feed them. So you leave all that up in the winter, like all those dead, the old blooms, the spent blooms with the seed heads.
Definitely.
So you keep feeding them through the winter.
Right. And, the Rudbeckia is great for that. And the coneflowers are great for that.
Yeah.
Leaving the seed heads out for them.
And it's a nice little look for winter interest. I feel like the last few years, there's been just a huge push to not clear your garden out in the fall. Like not go and rip everything out just because it starts to look dead, starts to look tired, but leaving it. I leave mine till the spring until new stuff starts to emerge. So, because all those little insects and stuff are burrowing into those stems. Too.
Right. And there will be hatching out, your caterpillars and so forth will be coming from that. I'd like to know more about that, about the cycle and how long the cycle is, because I don't know.
I don't either. I just try to be like, I think this is a good time. Hopefully I'm not like taking out a whole colony of something by removing these old, zinnias or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a video of a zebra swallowtail at Warner Park a couple of weeks ago, and I've never been able to get that close to one for that long. And they hatch off of pawpaw trees.
Yep.
And something else. I can't remember the other thing.
And Lindera.
Lindera
I think
is,
it's zebra swallowtail. It is sweet shrub, I think is its common
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Because I've got pawpaw and Lindera all in my woods. I'm very lucky to have that. We have like a grove of Lindera, and it is a host for swallowtail butterflies.
So I guess you're seeing them then.
Yeah, we get a lot. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. I want to paint one of those with the black and white and then that shock of red. They're beautiful.
Yeah, those have good interest, like the Lindera, and then it's got the little yellow blooms in the early spring. Like when I go walk in my woods, it's one of the first things that's starting to wake up and starting to bloom. That's how I found it. I didn't really know what it was, and years ago I was walking and I was like, I mean, we've got to have hundreds in our woods on our property.
So do you also have witch hazel? Because those will bloom yellow. I see those at Radnor Lake a lot. And those will bloom yellow very early.
I haven't found witch hazel in my woods, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean it's not in there.
Yeah.
I found so many things. I do have a witch hazel planted, but I haven't found any just yet.
What's the majority of hardwood tree in your woods? Or I'm assuming you have a mix because
we have a lot of box
naturalized.
elder.
Okay.
Yeah, which are kind of annoying. I'm pretty sure they are native, but they reseed and saplings come up everywhere, and they're a short-lived tree, so they fall. So we have a lot of that. We have a lot of pawpaws, like they're kind of everywhere, and elm trees.
Yeah.
I would say that's the majority of what we have on our property.
Cool. Cool.
I love a good woods walk.
Yeah, I'm not right if I don't get out to the woods a couple of times a week.
Yeah, it's the best. And luckily, Nashville has so many resources around.
We are
like where you
fortunate.
can go.
Yes.
Yeah. I know Tyler goes on a lot of bike trips.
I do. I enjoy biking at a lot of the greenways around here, which I know you're also a proponent of.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my favorites is in Peeler Park, which is in a remote bend that is very close to like Hermitage and East Nashville, but also not close because you have to cross the Cumberland River and there's currently no way to get over there. But it isolated unto itself, and also it used to be a dairy farm, so now it's just returning to a more natural state. There's so many great bird species. Indigo buntings I see regularly there, the bright punchy blue that fly up into the canopy as I zoom by. We seem to see new things almost every time we're there. There's a flock of turkeys. We've been watching the turkey family get larger and larger out there. Frogs. There's cricket frogs and tree frogs, green frogs, all kinds of.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a great little swamp example there because it is close to the river as well. So there's some bottom land and also some really lovely mature oak species. There's one that's so large. I think it might be a pin oak. So large, the acorns are like the size of ping pong balls.
Wow.
Whoa.
Massive acorns that it drops in the fall, and I'm looking at these things and I'm just like, who's around to eat them? I guess the deer maybe, but it's lovely.
That's great.
Nature's
An
buffet.
oak tree is one of the best things that you can plant to foster nature.
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm. Because there are so many caterpillars and insects that are drawn to oak
Yeah.
that use it as a host.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We
Truly,
have a massive
if
one.
you have the space for one,
Yeah,
it's great.
Ours is huge. I mean, you drive by our house and it's in the front yard, and it is one of the biggest trees on our road. I think
Yeah.
it's huge, and it's at towards the end of its life cycle, unfortunately. So it's dropping branches and stuff. I'm a little scared to walk under it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's still gorgeous. Like, I mean, it's got its leaves. It's beautiful, and it's doing its job. So
Yeah. And even when it does decline further and it dies, it'll still be doing its job because, to your point, it'll be feeding the woodpeckers and the insects and all that'll be living on that dying tree.
yeah,
Those of us that grew up in the city and are accustomed to seeing everything so manicured, when we go someplace like, I'll mention Radnor Lake again because I love to walk there, when that ice storm happened, unless a tree was blocking a road or a walkway, they didn't remove it because it contributes.
yeah.
And so I'm wondering, okay, are we going to have a huge bird boom because of the ice storm, because there's so many decaying trees on the ground?
That is something I have not thought of.
I know that ice storms throughout history are not uncommon. And even though this is like a every 30-year almost type event that we see here, but it is a big nature's way of kind of pruning trees, the dead wood and things, because there were no chainsaws hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
So thinking about all that felled timber building up over the years, there's reason to believe that, that's why everything was so lush.
Yes.
That's why the species were so abundant and vibrant, because we just let things be.
And break down and add back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. A friend of mine had this saying, and she said, nature is in the right always.
Yeah. I agree.
I think nature knows what it needs to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it takes care of itself. It's Mother Nature. Like, she's here
Yeah.
and in all of us.
Yeah.
Well, Renee, it was great having you on today. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
My
I'm so glad we
pleasure.
get to get this little mini episode out featuring you.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was fun having a chat about you guys, like-minded folk.
Oh, yeah. Let's chat again very
Okay.
soon.
I would like that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time, on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.